All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely critical for any business owner: protecting your brand. We're going to break down the entire process of trademark registration and really turn what feels like a complicated legal maze into a super clear step-by-step guide. So let's dive right in. So you've got a fantastic brand name, right? A killer logo, you're building up a great reputation. But let me ask you a question that might just keep you up at night. Is that brand name really yours? You see, if you haven't officially registered it, the answer is probably no. And that leaves you wide open to competitors and all sorts of legal headaches. That's the exact problem we're going to solve right now. Okay, so where do you even begin? Well, the whole journey to protecting your brand starts with two huge decisions. I'm serious. Before you even think about filling out a form or paying a fee, you have to get totally clear on what it is you're protecting and where you need that protection. Let's get into it, because these first choices set the foundation for everything that follows. First up is the what. Are you trying to protect the name itself, the actual words like Nike? That's called a word mark. Or is it the unique look, the visual style of your logo that's most important? Well, that's a design mark. They are two totally different kinds of protection, and you've got to figure out if you need one or maybe even both. So let's just hammer this home. You've got those two critical questions. First, are we talking about the name or the logo? And second, where are you doing business? Now, the second point is so important, and a lot of people miss it. Trademark registration is territorial. That means registering your brand in one country does not protect you anywhere else. You only get those legal rights in the specific countries where you actually file.
All right, once you know the what and where, it's time to put on your detective hat. You absolutely have to do a thorough search to see if your name or logo is already out there. Trust me, skipping this step is one of the biggest and most expensive mistakes you could possibly make.
And this whole search process really has two parts. First, there's the public search. We're talking Google, we're talking Amazon. You're basically scouring the internet to see what's already being used in the real world. Then, part two is the official search. That's when you go directly to the government's trademark database to see what's already been formally filed or registered. And when you're doing that first public search, please don't just glance at the first few results on Google and call it a day. A really solid piece of advice is to dig deep. You need to search at least the first 5 pages of results to get a real feel for who's out there and who might be using a name that's a little too close to yours. So, what are you looking for in that official search? Well, you're not just looking for a perfect identical match. The legal standard is actually much broader. You're looking for any mark that is either identical or confusingly similar to yours. Think about it. If someone else already has Sunkist for orange juice, your application for Sunkist is going to have a problem. It all comes down to this. Could a customer get confused? If the answer is yes, it's a no-go. Okay, you've made your big decisions, you've done your detective work, and it looks like the coast is clear. Now it's time for the main event, filing the official application. This is where you plant your flag. You stake your claim with the trademark office, and you make it all official. Now, a huge part of the application is picking the correct class. Basically, there are over 40 different categories for every kind of product or service you can imagine. Are you selling toys? That's a class. Providing financial services? That's a different class. You have to pick the exact category, whether it's tools, vehicles, or anything else, that perfectly describes what your business actually does. And listen, you have to get this right. The stakes are really high. If you choose the wrong class or make some other mistake on the form, your application can just get flat out rejected. And the worst part? You don't get your filing feedback. It's just gone. This is exactly why it's so often recommended that you work with a professional to make sure it's all done perfectly. So let's fast forward a bit. You've gone through the whole process, you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's, and your trademark is approved. So what happens now? Well, this is the magic moment. This is where your brand stops being just a name and transforms into a powerful, legally protected asset. This is the payoff. I'm sure you've seen both of these symbols. The little TM can actually be used as soon as you've filed your application. It's like a public warning shot that says, hey, this is mine, and it can definitely scare some people off. But the R in a circle, the R symbol, that's the real prize. You can only use that after your trademark is officially registered, and it means you have the full force of the law behind you. And do not underestimate the power of that little symbol. Putting the registered R symbol next to your brand name is, to put it simply, the strongest warning there can be. It's basically putting up a giant legal keep out sign that tells the entire world your brand is protected and you're not afraid to defend it. So let's just recap what this all really gets you. Registration isn't just about a certificate for your wall, it gives you legal exclusivity in your market. It turns your brand into a real, tangible asset you can sell or license. And maybe most importantly, it gives you the legal firepower to sue anyone who rips you off and to get paid for the damages they cause. And we're not talking about small change here. For example, in Israel, a court can order someone who copied your mark to pay up to 100,000 shekels. That's more than 25,000 US dollars. And they might have to pay that even if you can't prove specific damages. It's a massive financial reason for people to not mess with your brand. Look, at the end of the day, your brand is so much more than just a name or a logo. It's your reputation. It's the promise you make to every single customer. It's one of your most valuable business assets. So after all this, the only real question left to ask yourself is, are you doing enough to protect it?